So this is the most hyped CMF Phone 2 Pro. This is only the second phone from nothing sub-brand CMF. Now for 19,000, this might seem like another budget phone of the year. However, in my usage of about 4 weeks, it doesn't use the 2x telephoto camera when you record in 4K. It supports 33 watt charging. It never charges at 33 watt. In fact, compared to last year, it's a little less in loudness. Moreover, nothing's better. Nothing Phone 2a is currently selling cheaper than the CMF Phone 2 Pro. So what should you buy? And if your budget is under 20,000, are there better options? Well, this is the only video you need to watch on the CMF Phone 2 Pro with the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's go. Now, we asked you guys questions about CMF Phone 2 Pro, so throughout the review, we'll be covering them as well. Now, before we get to the problem, let's see what's good. First of all, apart from Samsung, every other brand in this price range gives you a charger. So, CMF Phone 1 didn't come with a charger in the box, but this time, you get a TPU case, 33 watt Type-C charger, USB-C to C cable, and this is a PPS or PD charger. So, basically, you can fast charge other PD devices or just fast charge a MacBook Air. If you have a MacBook Air. But if you have a MacBook Air, then why would you buy a budget phone? You would buy a budget phone because you're smart and you spend less money on smartphone and more money on a MacBook. Good one. PD charger. Now, the major change in design this year is, see, we have the green color from last year, and this had more like a paper-like plasticky finish. This year, it feels more like a glass pane. It's still plastic, but shinier, more like a opaque glass window. Now we have the green variant, which is simpler, but the orange and white look really cool. Like for a budget phone, the phone looks very cool. But to answer Abbas's question, the phone is slimmer than last year at 7.8mm, but it's still not a one-handed phone. It is pretty big. Also, they have reduced the bezels on the display this year, so the display feels bigger now. Again, due to the polycarbonate back, the phone is not that heavy. It's 185 grams, pretty standard for this price range. But the top rated question was, is it modular? Well, see, the major change is the frame. Last year, the frame and back panel could be unscrewed and removed. So last year, the logic was that people could make their own covers, or repairing the back panel would be much cheaper. Or it can be easily done by a third-party service. Now this year, you can remove the screws, but you cannot remove the back panel. Instead, now you get a universal case that can be fixed via the screws, and then you can attach the accessories on that universal case. So again, the universal case costs money. It should be like 1,000 rupees. I still cannot find the pricing or listing of accessories on the official store. Never mind. This year, to use accessories like wallet or lenses, you would need to buy the 1,000 rupees universal case and then again an extra 1,000 rupees for the accessory itself. So these accessories might easily cost you 2,000 rupees, which for a budget phone seems crazy high. But I believe this will boost third-party manufacturers to make same accessories but at a cheaper price for CMF. So for that, it's good. Rest, I don't think this is modular or repairable than any other budget phone in this segment. Now coming to the most asked controversial part, display issues. See, a bunch of Nothing Phone 2a units have a green tint issue. There are several Reddit posts, tweets on this. So with the CMF Phone 2 Pro, see here, you get a 6.77-inch 1080p 120Hz OLED display. It's a decent 120Hz display. It gets sufficiently bright for indoors. You get HDR support on YouTube videos. There's no HDR support for Netflix, but come on, that's like asking too much for this price range. You get Panda Glass protection. Now people get confused about what's this Panda Glass protection. Well, it's like Corning Gorilla Glass, affordable and from China. But whatever it may be, use protection. I mean a tempered glass and a cover. Now, to test the green tint issue on CMF, I took 4 phones. Nothing's own Phone 2a, CMF Phone 2 Pro, Vivo T4 and Moto H60 Fusion from a similar price range. Now, this green tint occurs at a lower brightness level, like 10 to 15%, and mostly in dark situations. So when you open a black screen or a grey screen, lower quality displays show sort of light bleeding or greenish tint. Now I could not find any of that tint on Nothing Phone 2a, and Moto's display was just really pitch black, like really superior quality. Vivo T4 had the most green tint, whereas at places on some screen in CMF, there was a greenish tint like the incognito mode page. In fact, at lower brightness, when I scroll on Twitter, there's also a slight color fringing if you look around images. Now, swear to my heart, does this really bother in day-to-day life? Absolutely no, if you aren't looking for it. Like most of the apps now aren't even pitch black, they are slightly tinted. So almost 99.9% of the time you won't notice it. You will if you are that person who opens incognito mode at 1 AM in the night in a dark room and you see green tint. You will. Well, it's your personal life. I won't judge you for that, although it's a bad habit. Now again, having said that, if you see a lot of green tint, this is a display issue. Get your phone replaced. Rest, almost 90% of the OLED displays in budget are this way. Not that big of a deal. But what's a bigger deal is solitude forges question. Mono speaker is a sad trend happening in budget phones.
And every day I felt the volume is a bit too low. Like suppose I turn on this tap over here, shower sound. Now I play a song here and I keep my phone here so you can see the volume is a bit too low. And yes, I like to listen to music in my shower and it's always crab rave.
So if you use earphones, it doesn't matter. But if you don't use earphones, the speaker quality is not that good. In fact, compared to last year, it's a little less in loudness. But like every time, what I did like is the software. Nothing OS 3.2 is based on Android 15 and it is genuinely most of the cleanest and slick Android skins out there. Like where Android and every other skin are getting colorful, big and attention seeking, this Nothing OS right here is actually very simple, black and white. Looks like a very minimal looking skin. Also, I love how every smartphone company uses Gemini in the background as AI and they market it as their own feature in AI phone. Here, on the other hand, Nothing uses ChatGPT and I have a pro subscription. So if you have a CMF buds, it triggers ChatGPT by default. So that's a good touch. Now for the essential button, if you take screenshot of things like a call page or an Amazon wish list, it does send a reminder about missed calls or buying stuff. But I found the placement of the button very weird for the user. Like for the company, it's good. Like most of the time, even today, I hit it thinking it's the power button. But nothing I feel has intentionally placed it here. So by mistake, you'll definitely hit this button and so you will remember, oh, there's something called essential button or essential feature. But practically I feel this essential key feature is not there yet, so I didn't use it that much. Anyways, it's in beta, so I'll not recommend you to buy this phone based on the essential button. Also, CMF offers you 3 years of software updates and 6 years of security update, which I feel for a budget phone is a really good number. But even with good software and updates, my experience with the CMF Phone 2 Pro software was kind of meh. Like I faced a lot of random bugs. For instance, the other day I clicked a photo and the camera app would show the photo to me, but it won't appear in the gallery or WhatsApp. Eventually, that photo was never saved and it got deleted automatically. Strange. And on this day, I quickly took a photo outside the mall. It was a good frame. I liked the photo, but somehow the phone took only a 2 megapixel photo. No detail, no clarity, nothing. God knows why. And on top of that, the phone feels sluggish at times. If you use the camera app and switch to modes quickly, it's very slow. In fact, while using the camera app, if you switch to other apps, there are frequent frame drops or jitters. And now that point brings me to the camera. A lot of people wanted to know how is the camera experience. First of all, hardware-wise, this is the best camera system. Except for Moto H50 Neo, I don't think any other company is offering a telephoto camera in this price range, and that too, Moto H50 Neo is on discount. So I had really good expectations from the camera. I took 100 plus photos on this. I don't even remember the count. First of all, if the lighting is good and there are no human subjects, the photos come out good. You have to edit these photos a little bit to increase saturation, but there are enough details. At times, it kind of misses HDR, like in these shots, like even in this cake shot. But the more you use it, you see the problem keeps on increasing. Like there's a color shift between the main and the telephoto camera. We have multiple examples of it. But I was expecting these to happen. It's a budget phone. But what's actually a bigger miss here is, see if I'll tape the telephoto lens and then start a 4K video recording. And now if I switch to 2x, the video footage still rolls. It doesn't use the 2x telephoto camera when you record in 4K. And if I start the video recording at 2x, it doesn't let me switch back to 1x. So basically the processor is not powerful enough to switch cameras at 4K. Now all of this is fine if you record in 1080p. Also, there were questions about comparing it with other smartphones. As of now, I feel Moto H60 Fusion or Oppo K13 takes better photos than CMF Phone 2 Pro. They might fix it later with software updates, but again, the end line is, if you're a casual user looking to take photos via Nothing's camera app, I wouldn't recommend this phone just for camera. Now, before we get to the conclusion, what should someone buy? Well, the CMF Phone 2 Pro comes with Dimensity 7300 Pro, 8GB LPDDR4X RAM, 128GB UFS 2.2 storage. It's essentially the same chip used last year. You get like 10% better scores than last year. And if you do casual tasks, the phone performs well. But the moment you start pushing the phone, like video recording or opening heavy apps, the phone feels slow and there's lag. A quick update, Nothing has released the update, so now you get 120 FPS support in BGMI. Overall, I feel a better processor like Snapdragon 7S Gen 3 rather than a telephoto camera would have been a better upgrade, or actually pro. Now, the phone even on heavy usage lasted me an entire day. Like I got screen on time of 6 hours, 7 hours. My only complaint was the charging. And this happens with Nothing quite a lot, like a lot of the time. See, CMF Phone 2 Pro supports 33 watt charging, but that's like a car's top speed. It never charges at 33 watt. But I was expecting it will charge at 30 watt. In reality, it barely even touches like 20, 22 watt. It takes 2.5 hours to completely charge the phone. In this day and age, that's quite a lot. So after the 3 weeks with the CMF Phone 2 Pro, here's what I would recommend. See, if it's between Nothing Phone 2A or CMF Phone 2 Pro, I would recommend CMF Phone 2 Pro. I believe both don't have a great camera. But with CMF Phone 2 Pro, you would get an extra 2x telephoto sensor and extra 1 year of software upgrades. The only downgrade would be single speaker. Now, if you want a better camera phone under 20,000, I feel Oppo K13 is a very underrated phone. Also, Moto H60 Fusion is a good option. For performance or better battery life, I believe Vivo T4 or iQOO Z10, same phone, but those are better. So I tried to give you a picture of best phones under 20,000 plus the review of CMF Phone 2 Pro. Subscribe for such wiser videos. Share this if someone is looking out to buy a phone under 20,000. On that note, this is Pei signing off. See you in the next video. Pew, pew, pew.